Content Catchup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Content Catch-Up. We're up to episode 8, and as usual, it's me, your boy, Jules, hosting this show, and a special introduction to the woofer from Bayswater, but only from Bayswater for another couple of weeks, Michael Francis Barker.
Wow. You just big dogged me by introducing me as a guest again, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You are my guest. You're my constant guest.
But I like that you pay a big skill of yours that complimented last season of paying attention. I am moving house to a suburb that you probably have no idea where it is, but that is coming up. So it's a busy few. Kilsyth, correct. Eastern suburbs. Shout out if you're from the east.
Represent.
Absolutely.
East? Are you Bloods
Busy.
or Crips?
Bloods. No. Busy few weeks that Jules coming up. I hate moving. It's one of the worst things. But once it's done, it's a bloody good feeling. But I just can't be bothered, you know?
What's your tactic? Are you going the professional movers, or are you going to try and do it all yourself?
No, I'll get a movers. But I don't know about you, but every time I've moved, you just psych yourself up to throw up. Throw up. That's how much I hate it. You throw out as much as you possibly can. And then when you do it, you just get to the new house and you've just somehow kept all the same crap.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're like thinking, oh, I don't really need this. But then when push comes to shove, you're like, oh, I'll just chuck it in the box and I'll deal with it when I get to the house. And then you take it to the house and it stays there for another 4 years.
Yeah, what is this like dodgy little, I don't know, thing I won as a kid, like never look at, and it just takes up room.
I hope you're not talking about Brad.
No, probably Brad. He'll be one of the ones I have to try to get rid of, I think. No. How's your bloody week been, Jules?
Jesus, it's been busy, Barks.
It is. It's frantic.
It's frantic. So apologies to everyone for a little bit of lack of content from us, but I hope you understand that it's now officially 4 games a week season at the moment. So we're obviously coming to the tail end of the AFLW, which is a little bit sad, I've got to say. But the
hang on, there's still hope.
There's still hope. That's what I mean. But it's still coming towards the tail end of the season.
Yep.
Girls had a thumping win last night in the Darcy Vesey show, I'd like to think.
God, that was good. It's nothing better than watching her forward up and about, I reckon.
How was the swag on her as well? Like,
I know.
After Darcy took a couple of those marks, she just had this like, it's almost like that fucking emoji, well, she sort of, for everyone listening at home, I'm doing that stupid thing around my face again. Yeah.
It's almost like that swagger you talk about is that you sort of know, I'm not going to speak for Darcy Vesey, but it's like she is comfortable that she's the best player on the ground, and you can just sort of see that. And what I took out of it, Jules, is that she must have been very creative lately. Because what's it been like?
Yes. That her creativity fuels her on-field performance.
Exactly. And I don't know if you saw during the week, her surfing thing.
Yeah.
She's so just silly, and it's great.
I think that's true. And they also had a ripper of an episode on the Behind the Game Changers podcast with Nat Plain. Darsk, stay creative, because we love seeing you out in the footy field, absolutely tearing it to shreds.
But yes,
apart from that, Barks, we also had AFL round 1, which it was great to see people back at the MCG, to use that line that bloody everyone's been using. I loved. I want to call out. I'm going to do a general egg to kick us off. But every peanut who went to the MCG and posted the exact same Instagram story, you know the one I'm talking about. It's the slow left to right pan of going across the ground and saying how good to be back.
Hang on, Julian.
Yes,
Julian
Michael.
Wallace.
Yes,
I know that you do that for a lot of AFLW games. It's usually a
AFLW at Icon Park. And I just say scenes.
No, you had one at one of the away games, but you can put yourself in that category of, what did you say?
I'll put myself in that category.
It might not have been that
well, I never said that. You just called me a tosser.
What was the word you used? I just want to call you a tosser.
You're such a dick stick, honestly. Come on.
That's an underrated one.
Dick stick.
Yeah, let's move on, Dick Sticks. Welcome to the show, Dick Sticks. You were struggling for an intro. That should have been it.
We're onto one here, aren't we?
Let's get on to content.
Let's get on to some content. I'm going to kick things off, Bucks, because you've done the run sheet and put me up twice. What have I been watching this week? Apart from football, it's NHL, baby. NHL. Ooh. That's what we're watching. I haven't actually been watching it, but I've been keeping an eye on their content because I low-key love the NHL. I reckon it's in my top 3 sports to watch.
Wow.
It's fast-paced. It's high energy. There's a lot of contact. It's physical. The players seem great, and they also put some ripper content out. There's a lot of good team accounts going around. But what I loved actually came from the league account. I'm going to jump on and share my screen here. Okay.
Before you jump in, Jules, I've been to one NHL game years ago. Knew nothing about it, but can I just add in that I've never watched it, but one of the best live game experiences I've had.
Where did you go and watch it?
Is it the Kings?
Where?
What? No, not the Kings. Black and white. What are the
LA Kings?
Yeah, LA Kings. Yeah, I got a T-shirt.
Best social media presence, or originally best social media presence. I think I've called them out before. So for everyone watching at home, we're on the NHL main account, and we'll have this in the links. We always say that, but I actually genuinely will put this in the links. This one's enjoyed with sound, so Barks, when you get a chance, just have a watch.
But then you see Miles Wood go flying into the crease.
I believe she thinks she saw it.
I saw it, and it was amazing. Who said I didn't see it? Did Jim say that I didn't see it? I saw it.
We have a lot of colored paper here. Why, oh why, do we keep printing this on white?
Come on!
Yeah, I know, it's bland.
It's never gonna happen.
Dude, here's what I was thinking.
You gotta believe.
Sort of a Where's Waldo? All right, let's quit while we're ahead.
That was so awesome.
That was awesome.
Any Office reference is great.
Any Office reference. So for all of you watching at home, they've got a little clip of a highlight of 2 players. I think it's, I'm not too sure who the teams are. I think it's New Jersey Devils and the Sabres, I think Buffalo. So basically one player is charging the net and has gone into slide and has ended up in the corner of the net. That's a very poor description, but that's how it happens. They've then taken that player, cut him out, and used that famous scene from The Office where they're watching the DVD logo bounce around the corner, and they've replaced it with the player. So it's just a nice little tie-in. And I thought it's just a reminder that highlights don't always have to be so serious. Like, it is fun to bring in some like pop culture references that more people can enjoy. And I think that's where you get new fans as well. If you're always just pumping up like high intensity, high octane, like hits, marks, kicks, whatever, you're going to lose a little bit of your audience because it's like that doesn't appeal to everyone. But if you can bring people in with something that they know, I think you're much better off. That's my thoughts. What do you think, Barks?
Yeah, no, I like your thoughts because I tend to agree. I think it's a bit of an abnormal way of thinking in a way. Like highlights, let's just typically think rusted on fans. Which I thought was rostered on fans until recently, Jules. I've heard multiple people say, rostered on makes sense. But anyway, getting off track. Rusted on fans. But this time, you can think about simple highlights to get new fans on. So, yeah, I think it's just, I mean, like, it's also about the turnaround as well, I think. Like, usually, you'd want that to go up as soon as possible, but that's going to delay it by making something like this. But it's probably worth it.
Yeah. But, like, I think if we're looking at it, like, people have already seen that highlight, right? If you're doing that a couple of days or a day after the game, you can still have some fun with it.
Yeah.
So people know the play, but they might not have thought of it in that particular way. It's almost like when you do, if you take it back down the traditional sports and analyst path, it's when you do stuff like your game reviews and you use the little circles to highlight key plays. Like, people have seen the play, but they haven't necessarily seen it in that way. And I think that's what this does, really. It's a fun way to present something.
Everyone loves it. And I think it goes back to the purpose of your account. Like, we've talked multiple times, like, what are you? Are you the broadcaster just putting out highlights? Or are you going to bring something different to the team account?
That's exactly right. Like, and especially in this day and age where you've got so many people pumping out the same highlights.
Yeah.
What is your point of difference?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Cool.
And everybody loves The Office.
Everyone loves The Office. I've yet to meet someone that doesn't like The Office. And if you don't like The Office, I don't want to meet you.
Right? Can you just message us? I want to talk about it. We'll have you. I will promise. If you do not like The Office, you will be our next guest, and we're gonna hammer the hell out of you.
Wow, violent.
Bit violent, but
Didn't
I'm
realize
sure
it was
you can agree.
Julian Wallace and Ivan Milat on the show. Jesus Christ.
They look pretty similar.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah,
No, that's a
come
good
on.
one. Well done. So,
Thanks, mate.
what I seen during the week, we'll go back to round one of the footy, shall we?
Yep, let's go.
Not directly though. And round one, Carlton were involved versus Richmond. I think you can see. I think you know my favorite bit of that night. What was my favorite bit of that night?
It's got to be something to do with the camera. So I'm thinking maybe that mirrorless camera that the NBA and
God, she's
NFL
beautiful.
made famous.
It's
Go on.
it's just tremendous to watch. Like that depth of field up close when they go quarter time, halftime breaks. We've seen it in. I'm not going to say who was first, but I believe the WWE had it. NFL was big on it, especially during the Super Bowl. I think. Like I'm sure that's. Or did they start using it before that?
No, I was going to say I think it was Fox Sports in the USA that brought it in the first because they cover the NFL and they also have the WWE, so that makes sense that they've been like, oh fuck, this works really nice. Let's chuck it in. Yeah.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, it's that camera that best way to describe it. It almost looks like a video game. So you're sort of like imagine a video game cutscene. Maybe just a basketball game where you float around sort of the person. I'm trying to describe it. The camera floats in front of the person with the scoreboard below. That looks like a video game, but that's what they've started incorporating overseas and now in Australia. Yes, Jules, you look about it.
I was going to say, and it makes it look like the background's really blurry. So it really focuses on the foreground and kind of blurs out all the background. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I'd use this to have a bit of fun with a spontaneous game of Rate It or Hate It, Jules, and you're involved.
Okay, here we go.
So
do we have some game show music underneath maybe?
We can, yeah, absolutely. So we'll use it as a way to look at things that broadcasters have tried that impact the way we watch the games. So
all right, I'm on.
You're on. First up, Spider-Cam. First introduced by NRL, I think, and we've seen it in AFL. And I want to add that ESPN tried this for the main camera, the whole game, for a college basketball game once.
That's a fucking terrible idea.
And the dizziness it caused, people went off on Twitter. But rate it or hate it, Spider-Cam.
Rate it for certain games, hate it for AFL.
Not at all. So,
not a fan of it.
Yep. Okay.
Because NRL and like cricket, I love it for. Where it's a bit, cricket's slower, right? So it's all right for it to swoop in and do a round. All right, come on, mate, none of that. And NRL is kind of linear, so it makes sense that they can follow the game up and down.
Yeah.
But not AFL.
You know who might also hate it? Steve Smith. Cricket reference.
Oh, here we go.
Steve Smith once missed a catch, right?
Because of the spider cam.
Do you know this? Yeah, the spider cam.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years ago, and he was complaining about it. I watched the vision the other day, and it's quite funny. So he blames that for not being able to catch the ball. So I get that in a game like that where the ball's up in the air. It's probably not the most convenient. All right, next up. Oh, did you ask my thoughts? Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's cool, but probably not. It probably shouldn't be used more than, say, twice, 3 times on just to maybe get the atmosphere of the game, maybe the crowd.
Yeah.
Small patches. You might not be aware of this. NHL, my notes say 1996. The broadcasters made the puck glow.
Wow.
So
I'm going to have you got a visual example of this?
So I think it was just to help glow puck footage. Do you want to link
Oh
it?
my God, I can see it. Glow puck footage?
Yeah. So have a watch and let me know if you rate it.
So
or hate
every
it.
time they hit it, it kind of like, nah, I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
What about for more casual fans trying to get into the game and they literally can't follow the puck?
I don't know. I think that's part of the thing that I've enjoyed about NHL is like trying to
Follow it.
trying to follow it. Yeah, because it's actual skill of the game, like to try and work out where the puck is and what they're doing with it, because it's so fast paced. Yeah, I don't know. I like it for like analytical stuff, but it feels like you're constantly watching an analysis of it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
What
I
are
think
your
so.
thoughts?
I think so. I think it's sort of fun, but you probably get over it if you're real rusted on fan.
Yeah.
Like it's just going to feel like a video game and feel a bit
Yeah.
fake almost. Maybe in replays though, as you said. So if you want to see what actually happened, maybe that's where you can use it. This is probably an easy one. When tennis and cricketing bought Hawkeye to see specifically where the ball goes. I can't see why you hate that.
Would you count that as broadcaster, or would you count that as like match? What's it called? Like referees, almost like DRS and stuff like that.
I had it under there because it still impacts the way we watch the game.
Yeah, that's true. I like it.
Yeah,
I
rate it.
I like it because if it either works in the favor of it works either way, right? Like if you've got a play that's in by a fucking bee's dick, right? Like you.
Bee's dick. What a dick's being used on this show. Let's go.
You know
let's
what
go
I mean.
a bit. Yeah, I do. A bit abnormal one. Poker. I don't know when they introduced this. They introduced that poker's whole cam, I think. So the TV audience
you had to be careful with that one, didn't you?
can see the TV audience can see the cards facing down. Yeah. Rate it?
Rate it.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Absolutely rate it.
I don't think there's any negative to it. It's just a cool idea. Similar to NHL glowing puck. Do you remember a year or two ago the 3-point line in NBA glowed? Or like it. So if someone shot a 3 that was behind the line, the line would glow up a red.
Okay.
Obviously,
no, I don't.
So if you Google that, I think that was actually very clean. Like that looks believable that it actually happened on the floor. But I'm not sure they haven't stuck with it to this day. So there's probably a reason for that. But I thought it was pretty cool.
I don't mind that so much, which sounds different because like I've said no to the puck, but I think that's a smaller interruption to the game that allows people to know that it's 3-pointers or it's 2-point.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Yeah.
All right, last one. We'll wrap it up. AFL, I guess it is a way of watching broadcasters. Channel 10, I think it was. The 5-minute warning, clock counting up for the last 5 minutes. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think
loved
everyone
it.
rated it, didn't they?
Yeah. There wasn't much wrong that Channel 10 did with their broadcast. Like, their commentators were great. 5-minute warning was great. What was that show with, it was before the game or before the bounce?
Before the game, if that's the one you're talking about. Tool of the
Brilliant.
Week. My favourite footy show by far.
Unreal. I think give the broadcast back to Channel 10.
Yep.
Get rid of these bozos on Channel 7. Yep. Love it. Love it all.
Great. Thanks for playing Rate It or Hate It, Jules.
I've got one for you.
Yeah?
I've got one to throw in. Rate it or hate it, cameramen on segways. You know those like scooters that were supposed to be the next big thing, and you like lean forward or you lean back and it propels you? Cameramen on segways.
Hang on, what's the point of it though? Just to make them look closer?
So they use it in the cricket a lot to get close to the players without having to like carry around. They've got like a cameraman and his like gimbal, I want to call it, like the thing that
the balance,
basically balances it out, and they just go really close. It gives you a good shot.
The
Can you
first
see
thing
it?
came up in someone bowling over Usain Bolt.
Yeah, exactly. That shit.
I think I rate it. I think it's sort of funny. Like I'd have to watch. I mean, I could Google a video here, but I'd imagine it'd give you quite a cool view on things. But obviously, it can, like the spider cam, it probably gets a bit annoying for the athlete sometimes.
absolutely hate it.
Hate it. Well, let
Because-
me just get the full picture. You keep saying me why you hate it. I'm just going to Google what it looks like.
Because those bloody segways, you'll be sitting there on the boundary getting a really, really good shot or photo or video or whatever it is of a player doing something in the warm-up, and you just get this fucking segway that just goes in front of you. Because they have no like spatial awareness whatsoever.
The shot looks alright though.
But you can do the same shot with a spider cam, which is what they started doing in the cricket this year when they weren't allowed to have players close to the cameraman. So they're redundant. I'm sorry, this one really fires me up.
I was watching a video
hate them.
in 2011 where this guy on the cricket just fell over and scared all the players.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, no,
The
I can
peanuts.
see why you hate it. That's a good one though. I was torn because it feels like a very cricket thing, so I hadn't really experienced it. Anyway, it's funny. It's fun to shut up. Just shut up. It's fun to see how broadcasters try to push the button with viewers' experience, I think, is what I was going with that.
I want to say I am a little fearful, or like, what's the word? Apprehensive.
Fearful? Scared?
That broadcasters in Australia tend to go like from 0 to 100 when they get a new piece of technology. So now I fear that they're going to make me sick of this mirrorless camera lens because they're just going to be using it for absolutely everything.
I could watch the whole AFL game on it.
I don't think I could. I think it's just too much. I hope they give us that footage though. That's a very selfish work related thing, but it'll make things a lot better.
They used it for a crowd shot round one. Very cool.
Yeah. Enough about broadcasters.
Yeah. It's enough about broadcasters. I think you've got another piece of AFL related content, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. One of the most exciting things when the AFL season starts is that we get to see all the hard work that the graphic designers have been putting in over the preseason, because it's not just the players that have big off seasons. It's everyone else as well, as they revamp and refresh their kind of offering for the 2021 season. So we've obviously had practice matches, but I don't think every team always rolls out their new graphics for that. They kind of try and save them for round one. So we've had now, 4 teams roll out graphics, and we're starting to see some that are pumping out Gameday graphics today. I want to get your thoughts on a couple of things, but the one that stands out, that always bloody stands out, and it's these pricks from Essendon.
You don't even need to show me it. I love it. I love it.
Their graphics are on another level. So make sure you head over to their Instagram and have a look at just like the work that they put into making everything so unique. Like the two Bens there, Ben Course and Ben Lawson. I know I've called them out before, but it's outstanding the work that they're doing. I think their Gameday graphics are insane. The one thing I think I want to touch on though is that while the designers might make all these Gameday graphics, particularly for score updates, it's normally the social media person or the digital person on the day that's updating them. And I imagine the same for like video frames and stuff like that. It's the video person that's updating them. And while we do have some skills in terms of like being able to use Creative Cloud and whatnot, the more complex the graphic, the more difficult your job is on a game day, because you're sitting there panicking, trying to work out, fuck, what's this layout? Oh, my Photoshop's about to crash. I haven't got the same like access to everything that you guys do. Oh, you've clipped that image. How the fuck do I clip an image?
Yeah.
All this stuff that pops into your head. So on that, I want to talk to you about, or I want to get your thoughts on how complicated or how important do you think Gameday graphics still are? When I say Gameday graphics, I mean score updates, Gameday posts, player of the matches, Instagram frames, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you're asking like about the balance of workability versus shit that looks cool.
Creativity. Yeah.
That's a real realistic insight into what it's actually like. Because, yeah, people want to get it out as quick as possible. You might have this elite-looking graphic with 13,000 layers, but if someone can't update it, then it's sort of ruined.
Shout out, Slip.
I don't know. Shout out Jason Salopek. I don't know, because I'm probably a bit ignorant to the fact that I'm just going to tell you that I think Gameday should probably be up there with your best.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like sort of, I mean, if you sort of get amped up, whether it's AFLW, AFL, that's the big sort of mark of your week. So I think, if anything, it should be the one you put most effort in, and it's what most people are going to see. I'd assume you're the data man, but is that up there with the amount of the graphics that get seen and clicked the most?
Normally, I'd say that the score updates are the ones that get the most, and that, again, is dependent on... did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. Shut up, Bernie.
It's because he's just taking a shit. Hey!
Fucking hell.
Come here. Come on. What's wrong, bud?
Yeah, so if score updates are the most visually seen, is... I don't know. I think, and sorry, I'm just going to go back to the amount of layers. If you make this really cool graphic, surely you can do it in a way, I'm no Photoshop wizard, but surely you can do it in a way where you just flatten everything besides the bits you need to edit?
Well, that's essentially what they do, but because like you're updating with a picture or like the text in something, it still ends up being like a lot. And we got to remember now everything is filtered. Everything's got like another layer of texture on it. So that it just adds up. And then sometimes the photo doesn't look good. So you got to change up the photo and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of having simpler stuff that looks good. And I think our designers have done that for us, and it's my opinion. Not to promote our work, but I think our designers we had a big chat with them, and this is Ash Hills and Jason Salopek if you want to have a look at some of their work. But we had a big chat with them just before the start of the season across AFLW and AFL. We probably with AFLW didn't realize as much, like if we want it to look good, how much extra work needs to go in on our end. But with AFL, we realized that and tried to correct that and be like, hey, we've got to get this out like fast. We don't want to be, because on game day, like if you want something really good, you either have to put another person on to just purely do graphics, which is a waste of resources, or you have to like sit there and you lose the timeliness of then being able to run down and capture some content, which is way more important than a game day graphic. So that got really like operational, but that's my feelings on it.
That's what's interesting to me, because it is probably just weighing up, are these images that have to be editable every week? Editable every week. Or can it just be like a wallpaper? You know what would be interesting actually with this? We bring them up all the time, but we should get one of the Bens on the show.
One of the Bens?
Well, ask them these questions. Like, we can have our opinions. I feel torn on it because I make it elite as you want, because I was just scrolling their Instagram as you were talking about that, and literally everything they do, I'm just like, wow. And it's like, that was really you vibes last week when you're trying to build up something, but you just be like, wow, I'm so excited. Maybe we should get them on. Double them up.
Which one do you want? Should we put a poll out? Which Ben would you like to hear from, Corson or Lawson?
So break it down. They're not both designers, are they? Or are they?
They are. Ben, I think Ben Lawson does more of the graphic stuff, and Ben Corson's more in charge of brand and feel. So
okay. Well, we'll
take your pick. We'll have it. We'll try and get one of these Essendon dickheads on. Bricks.
Jesus. No, interesting topic of discussion. And worthwhile thinking about whether you want it to be easy for your team on game day, or do you want it to look bloody cool and you don't care about your team on game day?
Yeah, fuck the team.
I think so. All right.
So this is one we've been talking about for a while, Barks, and we were lucky to have the very talented Edwin Smith from Social Sandwich join us a couple of weeks ago. But he's actually going to join us every couple of weeks with a little bit of a social media tip.
Brilliant.
And we've got our first one today, so let's get stuck into it.
G'day boys, thanks for having me back on the show. Really excited to be kicking this little segment off with a little bit of tips, a little bit of a rant around Instagram grids. I think I've talked to both of you about how I feel about the old grid on Instagram. I think personally that people overthink the importance of having, this really nice, fancy, curated looking grid, when the reality is probably 90% of people don't actually look at your profile unless they're coming to follow you. So my thinking is you should never sacrifice your individual posts for the sake of a nice looking grid, which is what I think people do, because they go, oh shit, like if I post this photo, it doesn't really fit with my aesthetic, like it's not gonna look nice on the grid, I need to post something else. And then you end up posting worse content and it does you more harm than good. So my kind of tip of the day today is focus on your individual posts. Obviously you wanna try and maintain a consistency of colors and a scheme and an aesthetic across your page, but don't sacrifice individual posts for the sake of a pretty looking feed. Social sandwich out.
Instagram grids. Grids, Jules. So basically, Easy Eddie's tip: don't sacrifice one post for the greater good of your whole Instagram grid. What are your thoughts? I think I probably feel a bit guilty to this because I love my grid.
I think we all do, because we went big on grids across both our accounts from Carlton. But I having heard that, I'm being swayed a little bit more. I agree. Like, sorry, you go.
No, you were talking.
Yeah, you should fucking learn not to interrupt people.
I thought you were dumb.
No, I agree. Like, and we've often been in this trap where, because we've started posting in a grid kind of layout, we've had to either post extra, which depreciates the quality of what we're doing because we've had to find extra posts to make the layout work, or we've had to like forego posting something really good. And he's right. Like, how often do you actually visit a profile? And we probably do because we like looking through stuff, but how often do you actually go and visit a profile of the posts that you've seen in your feed?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the only counter argument that Edward knows I have is I think I do sometimes. Like, I think especially if you're a business or an individual that you're looking to hire, for example, I think Instagram grids are a form of the modern age website in a way. So like, I think it's very dependent on what your page is. But I think some people would go to your Instagram page, scroll it, and if you see this beautiful aesthetic of a brand and someone who knows how to manage themselves, I think that is what people used to do for websites. Go to their website, check out their page, click on links. Now you go to their Instagram, check out their profile by actually checking it out.
Scrolling through.
And then click on the post to see what they're all about. So I don't know. I think it's dependent. Like, that's probably not appropriate to a sports page though. Like a team's page, because you're not going to scroll looking to hire them.
Because it's more of a news cycle rather than like a content creator grid. And yeah, that's true. That's a good way to look at it, right? I'm just now back thinking of Adelaide's grid, Adelaide Football Club, which is unreal, but it gives me the greatest anxiety because
someone stuffs it up or something.
Just the amount of planning that goes into it. Like, I understand it looks great, and this is not a knock on Adelaide. I really do appreciate everything that's happening here, but I just think it's, in my opinion, it's almost too much. It doesn't seem like it makes anything easy. It always makes everything seem like, oh fuck, we've got this. How are we going to get it up in this grid setting?
Yeah, it's a real balance, I think. And we should clarify, when we're talking grids, we're not talking about 8 images that make up one image. We're just talking about everything looking the same. And they might like line up. I think Adelaide's do make some sort of pattern. But it's a very fine balance, I think. But just to end this point, maybe for Adelaide's sake, I'm not going to speak on their designers, but if you find something like that to push yourself and to make yourself happy and stand out, then maybe it is worthwhile. Like, maybe it's not so much for the fans. Maybe it's hey, this is something I really enjoy, and we all want to enjoy what we do. So maybe it's something that they think about the individual. I don't know. There's probably different elements.
Very true. And I want to bring this back to something that you said before when we were talking about like game day graphics and stuff, and it kind of applies to grids and layouts. Are you doing it for an engagement purpose? Are you doing it for your own creativity?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it like, is there anything to say that the engagement on these posts is any better than just putting up a really nice photo, and to Edwin's point, that has the same color schemes, the same kind of vibe, the same consistent captions? Like, is there anything to say that this way is better?
Probably.
Whereas like if you can focus on like a small overall feel of the grid, like by using a filter that makes all the photos look the same. So when you're scrolling through, you're like, oh, this has got a nice aesthetic. Like, I can really see everything fits in here. And another thing we talk about regularly is making sure that videos have the right thumbnails and stuff like that. That's probably more important than going out and building like an insane grid from a sports perspective anyway.
Yeah.
There's also the argument. Sorry.
No, I think it's probably a good one. Ask yourself what the hell's your purpose, and then depending on that answer, it's probably a bit of a guiding factor. Yeah. But thanks, Edwin. That's cool. I think that would be good. That would be interesting for listeners. So basically, every so often we might approach Edwin, or Edwin at Social Sandwich might approach us with something that he's seen during the week, a tip he has for us, something he's seen that he dislikes. Maybe he wants to go on a rant. It's open.
Make sure you do go out and check Edwin's profile. I think he's also running a new Monday seminar where you can get some of these tips and a lot of his sass all in one half an hour session. You'll enjoy it either way.
Yes.
Barks.
Julian.
Now, it's 11:30 on a Saturday as we're recording this. This will come out on Wednesday, but you know, normally on a Saturday we've got a game, so I'm pretty rushed for what I do in the morning. Like I try to get up, go to the gym, then maybe straight into a training session or whatnot. But this morning we've got a bit more time since we've only got one more game this week. So I thought this morning I might go out and get myself some egg of the week.
Egg of the week. Yeah, I love that, Jules.
Now,
I did not have any eggs this morning, but
that's why
I
you're
do
looking
have
a
one
bit
egg.
Flat.
No, okay.
What? Go on.
You want me to go? No, I went last, so you go first.
I have 2 eggs, so I'll kick one off.
Yep. And I'll kick it right back at you.
Pretty obvious one. The NCAA.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I did. Well, I saw multiple, whether you're talking about the gym facilities. I think there was multiple other spaces and equipment and what's at their disposal, sorry.
The gym facilities. That's what I wanted to go at. And if anyone hasn't seen this, you'll be able to jump on Twitter and find it quite easily. But basically the NCAA March Madness is coming to an end or just starting. I'm not too sure, but March Madness, their big tournament, is underway at the moment for both the men's and the women's. The men's have this fantastic, I wouldn't say fantastic, but like significantly better weight room setup with squat racks, benches, weights, free weights, whatever. The women's players had one tower of like little handheld dumbbells, and that was it.
Yeah.
And you think, are you that daft, NCAA, that you don't realize that like in this age of social media, number one, you shouldn't be doing that shit. Like it's not hard to justify giving players the facilities that they need when they're the ones making you the money. Yeah. NCAA players don't get paid. They get their scholarships and that's about it. But the NCAA is one of the highest earning bodies of sport in the world because they don't have to fucking pay anyone and they have great TV deals.
Yeah.
Put some more money back into your athletes.
Yeah. It surprises me every time something like this pops up, especially like in 2021. Like it's so, I don't know, it's just so, I don't know the word, like dumb, it's ignorant, it's unfair. It's just
ridiculous that it keeps happening. But on the flip side of that, I want to shout out a couple of, like there were a couple of sporting goods and gyms from America that obviously saw that and jumped on it and sent a whole shitload of equipment.
Oh, that's cool.
Down to the bubble, but it shouldn't have to come to that, right?
No,
like it shouldn't have to come to that.
But
be
bosses
better.
of the week.
Just be fucking better.
Be better.
Yeah,
Early
possibly.
boss of the week to those whoever they were. All right. Yeah, that's fair. Nothing's classified. Nothing sums that up more than being eggs. And
eggs.
I've got
eggs.
I've got an
Yeah,
egg
go
that
on, give it to us.
We already shared during the week, but I just wanted to draw attention to it once again, just quickly. That cameraman. I don't know, some sort of college conference in the States. Team won the championship as you would. You're the videographer. You want to get in there and get the shots because there's basically the most important shots of the season in a way. Like everyone wants that footage. And just have a look at the security guard literally tackle and put the videographer in a headlock. Now, you'd assume it would be due to COVID, but he's wearing a mask. He's a good, 1.52 meters away. But the security guard is just being, literally looks like he's just being a prick out of choice.
I think the security guard was too heavy-handed, but I read some of the comments underneath, and apparently there was like he didn't have the right accreditation to be in that spot, and he had several warnings from the security guard beforehand. That being said, there's no reason you need to manhandle someone like that. I think what would have been better is, and this is where people probably don't have an appreciation or complete understanding of what we do. And it goes vice versa, right? Like that cameraman should have realized that security guard was trying to do his job by like protecting the players. Because at the end of the day, that's what they're employed to do. And he was too heavy-handed. That's bad, but whatever. But like, give them a fine afterwards. Let them get that footage because that footage is going to almost pay for the fines rather than have to deal with this shit afterwards.
Deal with it after. Sort of, if the videographer was in the wrong, then bring it up afterwards with whoever the appropriate parties are. But you're right. The main head hold, what's it called?
Headlock.
Headlock,
Bucks.
Head hold. Bloody egg for that one. All right. Kick us home. I believe you've got one close to home.
I've got one very close to home. Listeners, as you're aware, I am currently painting my kitchen, and my lovely mother, God bless her, has been. Most of it. She's done a lot of it. I'm not going to lie, but I have picked up my act in the last couple of days. I've gotten a bit busy to do a few things late night, and been doing some painting. Done a lot of it the other day, or I did a lot of it the other day rather. Mum came over yesterday to kind of help me do another coat on a few things. And she did a good job, but then decided to re-prime or paint white over something that I had already painted grey, which is the colour that I'm moving to. And I was looking at her and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm priming this. It was still the original color. And I'm like, Mum, I painted that. Like I primed it. I sanded it. I painted it. And she's like, no, it was still brown. And I'm like, no, it was grey. My mum's just colorblind. And it will not.
That doesn't help.
I don't think she is, but she won't admit it. And she's like, I swear it was brown. I'm like, Mum, you've lost it. You've been in here too long with the paint fumes. Like, go outside, get some fresh air.
Maybe you've got it working. The paint fumes have gone to her head. Poor Miriam.
Poor Miriam. But she's still a bloody egg. Like,
yeah, that's fair enough.
Learn the difference between grey and brown. Should we move on to boss of the week?
Yes, we should. And that tune has made famous by AJ at Carlton in our team chat the other day. Credit to you, AJ. Massive fan of the
Thanks
show.
for listening.
I appreciate you. This is just a quiet message to Adrian out there. Boss of the week. Have you got one?
I haven't got one. Have you got one?
I've got a quick one. Boss of the week. So, college basketball team, obviously they've got to go through their protocols. Actually, I'll link you this because you can't hear it, but they've got to go through all their protocols. And what better way to make them all excited than announcing who is due for their COVID test? Like it was like an introduction at the basketball introduction at the stadium, and the team get absolutely amped every time someone gets called out. So
sensational.
6'7" out of Kansas City, Missouri. Evan Troy. Ross recently freed. Give it up for wartime.
So basically, boss of the week is her for turning a negative situation in obviously what's going on into a positive. Bit
This
of a feel.
lady, he's my new favorite person in the world. These players are great as well.
Yeah, they're all getting it.
Right.
Right.
We've got one question we had a couple of questions from social media, so thank you for everyone who answered. But there's only one serious question because Ness, Bark still doesn't know how to open a door. And Rose, no, we didn't have Marnie on the show to talk about grids because we'd still be here for like 4 weeks if we did.
True.
But we had a question from Jono. I'm not really sure how to pronounce your last name, Jono, so I'm going to say Jono B.
JP.
And his question was, what's the best way to do a game day content-wise? So game day is funny because it actually doesn't start on a game day. Game day starts on a Monday morning when you start planning for game day. I don't really... this one's hard because everyone's got a different approach to it, but I think the best way to tackle game day content-wise is be organized. Almost have like your own mini content plan for a game day with like that has a run sheet of everything that's going on, everything that needs to be covered, almost who's going to cover it at what time, and how they're going to get that content out and when it needs to be out. So we use an AFL game day as an example. Say it's a Carlton home game. There'll be pre-game, and we'll talk pre-COVID times when shit was actually happening, but pre-game, there'll be activations on the outside of the stadium, which will require some sort of coverage. These activations are normally linked to sponsors. So easiest way to grab that is on your way in, do a quick lap around the stadium, get a few things that you need, and then head in. Then you might look and the events team might say, oh, we've got a president's function going on and Stephen Kernahan's talking. And it's important because it's the 30th anniversary of this grand final. Can you come and cover it? Now, I've always found in-game stuff the hardest to do, or like in-stadium stuff, because you always get bloody lost and you end up being late for something else. In that instance, you might look at it and you might turn around and say, hey, do you have a cameraman in the room that we could just get the speech afterwards, and can you just flick us back some photos? Because we've also got on-field stuff that's happening, like mascot races, special guests ringing the bell, debutantes, stuff like that we need to cover. Normally that's okay. And then you roll into your actual pre-game. Pre-game's a pretty set routine. Anything that you can find that'll entertain the people at home, small little clips of the boys or girls warming up, hype them up, hype the fans up before the game, and then you roll in. Game coverage, a lot simpler because you can't do as much because of broadcast rights, but that'd be the stage where you might roam around with the camera or a stills camera and get some crowd footage or anything else you might need for an upcoming hype the week after. You see, that's the hard thing. You've always got to be thinking of the week after or the week after that. And then actually organizing on a game day, I think the best thing to do is have a shared Dropbox where you can dump all the footage. And that might be highlights from the game. Sorry, I need to clear my throat. I was going a bit high pitch there. That might be highlights from the game. It might be clips that the AV team have put together. It might be photos that someone on the ground level has taken as they're roaming. And then it kind of comes to the person who's sitting up in the media box to be the gatekeeper almost, or be the producer and be like, all right, we need this here, we need that there. This needs to have this watermark on it. This needs to have that end slide on it. It's a real production. It's almost it's becoming a lot more. I'd say the best way to do it, like to shorten all that down, is just be organized. Know what you're getting into on a game day, and know what you have to do, and just have a checklist and tick it off.
I was going to say, finish that.
I was just going to say, I hope that kind of answers your question. Sorry if I ranted a little bit.
I was going to say, the balance between me and you, Jules, is fantastic, because that was a beautifully said thing that I would have just, my version of it would be bloody organised. And I'll leave this with you, embrace the pace, because I think the thing I found, you can be as organised as you want, but there will be, like, the game day is different in terms of things just move very fast and nothing goes to plan 100%.
No.
And just embrace that, because it's not the end of the world if mistakes happen, and they do happen. Or you can just listen to Jules' 30-minute presentation, but that was mine.
All right. Well, when I asked you, you had fucking nothing, so someone had to talk, didn't they? This is a podcast, not a silence cast. Like, Jesus.
Yes, silence doesn't even make sense. No, as I said, brilliant answer, but my one would have just been be organised.
I like that too. Short, be organised. We just cut everything I said. Cut everything I said.
You did well, Jules. Don't beat yourself up. And speaking of doing well, you've done well, listeners. Done well for another week, because, hey, it's been fun. And I think we did really... No, I'm kidding, Critter. We're not going to review our own episode. I do want to, though. If anyone's forgotten, our colleague Critter and friend, kind friend, Critter, he hates that we talk about our podcast at the end of every episode.
Stuff him. He just wants to come on the show, so...
He does. But thank you for another week. Thank you for the questions, the serious questions, Jono. We like that. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Head to the socials, head to YouTube, because remember, you can watch the full thing in video form.
And, Barks, I haven't told you this, but I reckon we're going to have a guest next week.
Wow. Is this a guest I know of, or it surprised me, actually? We'll see who rocks up the morning of.
We'll see who rocks up. It could just be my mum with a paintbrush and a colour chart.
That's harsh. She's done wonderful things. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
Peace out.